Om. Om. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Sadashivasamarambam Shankaracharya-madhyamam Asmadacharya-paryantam Vande Guru-paramparam Narayanam Padmabhavam Vasishtam Shaktim cha Tatputra-parasharam cha Vyasam Shukam Gaudapadam Mahantam गोविन्दयोगीन्द्रमतस्य शिष्यं श्रीशङ्कराचार्यमतस्य पद्म पादं च हस्तामलकं च शिष्यं तं तोडकं वार्तिककारमन्यान् अस्मद्गुरून् सन्ततमानतोऽस्मि श्रुतिस्मृतिपुराणानाम् आलयं करुणालयम् नमामि भगवत्पादं शङ्करं लोकशङ्करं शङ्करं शङ्कराचार्यं केशवं बादरायणं सूत्रभाष्यकृतौ वन्दे भगवन्तौ पुनः पुनः समस्तजनकल्याणे निरतं करुणामयं नमामि चिन्मयं देवं सद्गुरुं ब्रह्मविद्वरम्। ॐ श्री चिन्मय सद्गुरवे नमः। 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 सर्ववेदान्तसिद्धान्त गोचरं तमगोचरं गोविन्दं परमानन्दं सद्गुरुं प्रणतोऽस्म्यहम्। After completing all the elimination of all the koshas, we are in the Anandamaya kosha. This is one of the important part of the discussion because Panchakosha Atitaha Paramatma, final one which anybody would mistake it to be is Anandamaya. Because in that state of Anandamaya Kosha, all other things are not there, or awareness of all of them are not there. That is Annamaya, Pranamaya, Manomaya, Vijnanamaya. So one may mistake that Anandamaya Kosha is Samadhi Sthiti. There was one school of thought when I was in Yuvakendra in Bangalore, while attending the Vedanta classes as a study group and other things. There used to be one group of people who are following Shankaracharya's text only, but they vehemently proposing or um, insisting that Vedanta, Vedanta concludes that Anandamaya Kosha Sthiti, Sushupti Sthiti eva Samadhi. In the sense that one has the glimpse of Brahman in the Anandamaya Kosha or in Sushupti. And they had a lot of Shruti Vakyas are also to support that. But then that's the reason why it has to be very carefully studied. So, as it is said in 206, Anandamaya Koshasya Sushupto Spurti Urutkata. This is what they quote. Anandamaya Koshasya Sushupto Anandamaya Koshasya Spurtihi Sushupto Utkata. Utkata fully available. What? Anandamaya Koshasya Spurtihi, fullness, is completely available in the sleep. Swapna Jagarayoho Ishat. But in the case of waking and dream, it's only a little part of it. Ishat. Ishta Sandarshanadina. When one comes to have the perception of or experience of seeing, etc. So this is what they quote as their authority, saying that Bhagavan Shankaracharya itself said that. The Anandamaya Kosha is available fully in the deep sleep, fully manifest. So Gurudev also, Anandamaya Kosha is fully manifest in the full deep sleep state. But then the refutation also is given by him. Now we read that 209 again once more. Naivayam Anandamaya Paratma Sopadikatvat Prakritirvikarat Karyatva Heto Sukrita Kriyaya Vikara Sangada Samahitatvat Naivayamanandamaya Paratma Saupadikatvat Prakritirvikarat Karyatva Heto Sukrita Kriyaya Vikara Sangada Samahitatvat. Here the reasoning is given. Anandamaya Paratma na eva. I am this Anandamaya Blisshit na Paramatma. It is not the self. Why it is so? There are 4 reasons that are given. So Upadikatvat, because it is with Upadi. Upadi means anything that conditions it. Upadi is any kind of conditioning. What is the conditioning that we have in this Anandamaya Kosha? Deha is not there. Prana is going on, it doesn't disturb. Mind is not there. Buddhi is not there. Then what is it conditioning? See, when we are awake, there are so many limitations. Sense organs are running here and there, looking at the object. That is a conditioning. And then mind is also having many thoughts. That is a conditioning. Buddhi is seeking for something or the other. That is a conditioning. But these being absent in the state of Sushupti, what is that which is holding back? Why we cannot say Anandamaya Kosha is the state of Brahman? Because there is Upadi. Kya hai? Ajnanam. Ajnanameva Upadi. At that time, avidya or ajnanam is a upadi in the state of Sushupti. This is the first reason. Saupadikatvat. That's the first reason. The second reasoning that is given here is Prakritehe Vikarat. Gurudev also explains this. 4 reasons. Prakritehe Vikarat. It being a modification of the Prakriti only. Modification of Prakriti means what? So it is also a state which is within the spell of Maya. Which is also conditioned by the nature of Maya. Again, Avarana and Vikshepa. This modification studies covering of one's own reality, and there is a Vikshepa, but not Vikshepa like that of in the state of dream or waking state, but Vikshepa very subtly there, but necessarily Avarana is there. So Avarana is being present, meaning the covering up of the Atman takes place there, and therefore Avaranatvat. So here it is given here. Prakritehe Vikarat Sopadikatvat Sannimitatvat Ityartaha Ishta Sandarshana Yogajanya. Okay. So Vikaratvat Yartaha Tamo Vijrumbita Vrittehe Tadatvat. Because it is covering the understanding which is already there, and that is also considered as one of the reasons. As Gurudev writes it here, the reason for that is the bliss sheath consists of causal body made up of vasanas. So that is the modification of Prakriti. All right, even though unmanifest vasanas are there. Then third reason is given here is that it is Karyatva Hetoho. It is a result of Ajnana. Karyatva Hetoho. Why it is considered as Karyatva Hetoho? See, sleep is considered as a result of past karmas also. So here it is said, Punya sya anubhave vibhati. Punyasya anubhave vibhati. Ityuktataya sukha akara avidyavritterapi jagara swapna kalikayaha punyajanyatvat vikara sanghata samahitatvat priyadigunaha iti anena tasya priyameva shiraha ityadi shrutya darshana labha bhoga janma sukha rupa avayava samudaya sanjanitatvat punyavashat ishtartha darshane labhe cha तमो मिश्र सत्वोद्भवे जायमाना वृत्तिः सुख आकारा अहम सुखी इति रूपा एवं भोगे कोन्योस्य तदृशो मया यक्ष्ये दास्यामि मोदिष्ये इत्यादि रूपा. Now, Anandamaya Kosha not necessarily be that which is experienced in the sleep, but also, as we saw, that Ishat, little also available during waking and dream, that is because of ability to experience objects which are of one's liking, which creates Priya, Moda, Pramoda. This also belongs to Anandamaya Kosha only. And that is possible because of Punya Karma done in the past. So, very often we say, Humko ye mila, Punya se. Even though one wants to experience, one may not get it. So, one gets it because of some Purvakrata Punya. So that means what? It's a result of something of the past. That's why it's called Karyatva Hetoho, being an effect. Atman is not an effect of something. Atmanaha Ananda is not an effect of some past deed. The bliss of the Atman is not a product of some action. Whereas Priyamoda Pramoda, that which is experienced by us in the waking and dream, are caused by the actions of the past, resulting in some experience. How ishta, that's why I said, darshana, labha bhoga janya sukha rupam. So Anandamaya Kosha, not only of this nature of the sleep, but also the experiences that are there in during waking and dream born out of past action. Therefore, karyatva hetoho, the last one which is cause for not considering Anandamaya Kosha as Atman is it is being vikara sangata samahitatvat, because it is also connected to all the other vikaras, all the other various upadhis which are there when we wake up to experience. The tendencies expressed as thoughts, the vasanas can exist only in the medium of matter. So the Anandamaya Kosha is always associated with the assemblage of matter. Naturally, therefore, is held in a mesh. For a person who is even sleeping, he cannot remain sleeping forever. Prakriti will push him out to identify with the upadhis. If it is samadhi, then one must have a choice not to come out. But that is not the case here. In the state of sleep, even when you do not want to come out, it will come out. Why? Because the Prakriti will push you to identify with the body and etc. to experience the karma. So identification with the matter cannot be avoided. So therefore, being identified with the matter, Anandamaya Kosha will, in the form of vasana, vasana becomes thought, thought becomes an action. So therefore, Anandamaya Kosha is not Atman because Anandamaya, Atman is by nature is what? It is Nirupadika Atma, first of all. It does not have Upadhi. Ajnanam also it is not Upadhi. Nirupadika Atma. Na Prakritehe Vikaraha. It's not a modification of Prakriti. Na Hetuhu, it is not an effect. Na Karyam. It is not a product of anything. And also, like finally, it is asangaha. It is unassociated with anything else. So continuing here in the next verse, that is 210. Panchanam api koshanam nishede yuktita shrutehe तन्निषेधावधि साक्षी बोधरूपे वशिष्यते रूपो वशिष्यते ओके पञ्चानामभिकोशानां निषेधे युक्तितश्रुतेः तन्निषेधावधि साक्षी बोधरूपो वशिष्यते. Nishede and the elimination. Siddh is the word. Siddhi means what? Huh? No. Siddhi means accomplishment. Anything accomplished called Siddhi. Nissiddha, unaccomplished. Unaccomplished is called Nissiddha. Nisheda, on the other hand, is elimination. So, Nishede, when it is eliminated, what is eliminated? Panchanam api koshanam nishede. When all the 5 koshas have been eliminated, here again, it is not a yoga margena. In yoga marga, they control and eliminate it by mental conditioning. मैं क्रॉस बॉडी नहीं हूं, मैं स्थूल शरीर नहीं हूं, मैं सूक्ष्म शरीर नहीं हूं, ऐसे वो mentally they are eliminating the association with the panchakoshas by the force of practice. Whereas in Vedanta, it is not a forceful practice of elimination of the panchakoshas. It is by knowledge. Shrutehe yuktitaha, to be underlined. By the method given by the Shruti. See, Yoga Shastra mein, even though we have a lot of sutras and other things are there, practice is important. पढ़ने का वो अध्ययन करने का कोई इतना इंसिस्टेंस नहीं है. प्रैक्टिस का, अभ्यास का, वो so much of abhyasa is what is insisted. Sit down quietly. What is called hatha yoga. Hatha means adamantly sitting. I will not move. Sit down there. No seeing, no hearing, not smelling, not touching, not thinking, not going around, not moving this body, controlling the breath, removing the thoughts one by one. May I see if the thought comes, is one and has to consciously get out of the thoughts by focusing on a particular form in front of one or chanting the Om and making sure the mind is focused, ekagrata chintan, all the things, move. Whereas in the Vedanta Marga, Shruti Yuktitaha. Yuktita means Yuktena. What is the Yukti? मैं स्थूल शरीर नहीं हूं, क्योंकि ये विकारी है, प्रकृति ही विकारी है, उपाधि है, नश्य है, अनित्य है, असत्य है. So this thinking, by understanding the temporary nature of the body and also illusion of this identification. The body I am, body doesn't say that. Does the body tell you, I am the body? So the mind, because of its habitual association with the body, it never even questions this. It is a mind that is identifying with the physical body and then thinks that I am the physical body. So, Nisheda here means Shrutehe Yuktita. With the help of the Shrutis, Yukti, methodology of thinking, reasoning, one slowly having removed all the identification with the Panchakoshas, Tan Nisheda Avadihi. At the end of this Nisheda, or on elimination of all of them, Sakshi, what remains, Bodha Rupaha Avashishyate. Awareness as a Sakshi remains. On the elimination of identification with all the five koshas, what remains as a Sakshi is that awareness which is independent of all the five. So this concludes Panchakosha Viveka. So finally, the teacher says, by this time this should be over. Okay, completed. He has already proved that all the five koshas cannot qualify themselves to be the Atman. All right. So, as a conclusion here in the next verse, number 111, he says, Yoyamatma swayam jyotihi Panchakosha vilakshanaha Avastatraya sakshi san Nirvikari niranjanah Nirvikaro niranjanah Sadanandassa vigneyah Swatmatvena vipaschita Yoyamatma swayam jyotihi panchakosha vilakshanaha avastatraya sakshi san nirvikaro niranjanah sadanandassa vigneyah swatmatvena vipaschita. Yah atma ayam Panchakosha vilakshanaha swayam jyotihi. Yaha ayam atma. This very Atman is different from the five koshas, sheets, and Swayam Jyoti, self-illuminating, self-knowing, in other words. And at the same time, Avastatraya Sakshi, son, being the witness of the three states of experiences, Nirvikaraha, unchanging, Niranjanaha, unpolluted, untarnished, Saha Vigneyaha. Sadanandaha Saha Vigneyaha. That which is always blissful should be known. By whom? Vipaschita Swam Atmatvena. Vipaschita Vivekapurusaihi Mumukshubhihi, by the people who are seeking for liberation. Vipaschita, by the Vipaschit become Vipaschita. By Bhagavat become Bhagavata. Bhagavata, Vipaschita, by the one who is doing the proper Viveka. Vipaschit word means wise person. Najayate mriyate va kadachit nayam bhutva na bhavita na bhuyah ajo nitya shashvato yam puranah na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Right? So this body is, this self is not born, never dies in this way. So one who is able to continuously able to do the viveka, vipaschita. So here, swatmatvena vigneya, as one's own self. So this is the concluding part of, because this question was raised in verse number 125. And not question, this statement was made by him in verse number 125. Guru has said that. Yaha avashishyate ayam atma idi purva shlokena sambandha upakrama ekavakyataya paramatma nirupanam upasamharati. What is started in 125, here it concludes. There it is upakrama. Upakrama means introduction. Upasamhara means conclusion. So what is upakrama ekavakyataya, as one statement made in 125. Now here it is upasamharati. What? Asti kaschit swayam nityam aham pratyaya lambanaha avastatraya sakshi san panchakosha vilakshanaha in 125. There itself he mentioned this, and therefore here it is concluded with the same statement. This is how the teaching is. You have to make the same statement to prove that what I have explained is the same thing which you have asked for. All right. So, vipaschita vigneyaha. What? Vivekakushalena vigneyaha. And also it says that it is, if a person does not understand it as one's own self, it is said in Taittiriya Upanishad, asanneva sabhavati asad brahmedi veda chet asti brahmedi chet veda santamenam tado vidirti. If a person says, the Atman I am not, then that person is not. Asanneva sabhavati. Saha asad bhavati. Who? Asad brahmedi veda chet. If somebody says, Brahman hai hi nahi, aap hai hi nahi, you are not there. See, it is as simple or as foolish to say, I don't exist. If somebody asks, do you exist? No, I don't. What do you call that person? Asad bhavati. Brahman asad idi chet, saha asad bhavati. Asti brahmedi chet veda. If somebody understands and knows asti brahma, then he become asmi brahma. And one knows that Brahman asti, eventually he become I am Brahman. Santamenam tato vidirati. Such a person alone becomes Santa, saint, sadhu, seeker. When? Asti Brahma. You start from Asti Brahma, then end in Asmi Brahma. Nasti Brahma, if you start, you will end up in not there. It is as good as saying, I don't exist. So therefore, Swatmatvena Vigneya. It has to be realized as Mama Atma. Iti. Morning in the other class also we saw in the Dakshinamurti Stotram. He says that if the person recognizes that I am the self when he recognizes, he also understands I am the self of all. In the maturity of that thinking, one recognizes that if I consider myself of the body or the mind, etc., he will look at everybody in that way only. If I'm looking at myself as the body, then when I look at other person, what am I looking at? Because my identification is with the body, then my perception is also with the body. When one identifies fully with Aham Atma, then what will he see? Sarva Atma, Sarva Bhutatma eva. Ahameva Sarva Bhutatma. Tasya ko moha kashoka ekatvam anupashyataha. Upanishad says, for such a person, where is the shoka or moha? Where is the delusion and sorrow when he has seen the one? There is no hatred. There is no question of aggrandizing, owning, possessing, hating, loving. None of those such things, human, such tragedies won't happen into such people, such person. So therefore, vipaschita vigneya swatmatvena. Now the Shishya wakes up. I understood what you're saying. But one problem persists. What is that? Shishya uvacha मिथ्यात्वेन निषिद्धेषु कोशे श्वेतेषु पंचसु सर्वाभावं विना किंचित् न पश्याम्यत्र हे गुरो विज्ञेयं किमु वत्स्वस्ति स्वात्मनात्म विपश्चिता शिष्य उवाच मिथ्यात्वेन निषेधेषु कोशे श्वेतेषु पंचसु सर्वाभावं विना किंचित् न पश्याम्यत्र हे गुरो विज्ञेयं किमु वस्त्वस्ति स्वात्मनात्मा विपश्चिता स्वात्मनात्मा विपश्चिता. Swamatma is written. Here Swatmana is written. So it is in I know in CCMT it is Swatmana. Maybe in another version Swamatmana is written. That's okay. It's the same thing only. Here in the Sringeri book it is Swatmana only. It's written. Swatmatvena vipaschita. Swatmatvena. No, that is different. No. Here what is it? Swatmana Vigneyam Kumakas is Swatma Atra Vipassita is written. Swatmana Atra Vipassita. There are three versions then. Swatmana Atra Vipassita, Swatmana Atma Vipassita, Swatmanam Atmana Vipassita. Right? Swamatmana Vipassita. Right? Anyway, three versions are there. More or less it's the same. So the Shishya is asking, Eteshu panchasu kosheshu nishiddeshu. These five koshas have being eliminated, or as what? Mithyatvena, as being illusion. Eteshu panchasu Nishiddeshu, Sati Saptami. In the event of, or in case of, 5 koshas having been eliminated as illusion, Mityatvena Nishiddeshu, Sarva Abhavam, when it is everything is removed, Vina Sarva Abhavam, and as it is all the things having been given up or given to null and void, Kinchit na pashyami atra guru. I don't see anything else. Having eliminated all of them as false. So what happened? Kuch nahi. I do not see anything. Absence of all, only what I'm seeing. Sarva abhavam vina, other than. Vina here means other than. Sarva abhavam. Sarva abhavam, nothing is there. Other than seeing nothing, anything else positively I don't see. Sarva abhavam vina, kinchit atra na pashyami. Na kinchit pashyami. I do not see anything. Hey Guru. So, therefore, kimu astu vastu vigneyam asti. What is there to be known then? Who? Vipaschita swa atmana atma vipaschita swa atmana. By oneself, one who is doing the deliberation upon the self. Atma vipaschita, according to this version I'm saying. Atma vipaschita means atmanam vipaschita. Atmanam vivekam. So atma vivekam yah karoti. Tena. The one who is inquiring upon the nature of the self. So atma vipaschita swa atmana kimu vastu vigneyam asti. What is there that he has to see? I'm only seeing absence. तो कुछ देखने को कुछ नहीं मिलता है वहां. So what do I do? It's a valid question. Because he is always looking for, otherwise also when you ask anyone, what is your idea of Brahman? Is it something? Is it some vastu? Is it some substance? Is it some being? So when you say, I do not see, after even Anandamaya Kosha is gone, kim vastu asti? What else there as a being? Nothing is there. In one of the Upanishads, after the teacher having taught everything, he said, Upanishad bro, hibo. Please teach me Upanishad. The teacher, poor thing, he's very compassionate. What I told so far is what is called Upanishad. After having taught all the things, then suddenly he says, I wanted to learn Upanishad. What did I say now so far? May not be the same student who asked the question in the beginning. Somebody else, maybe one of the class students, finally asked this question. So for this guru here, very, very compassionate. He said, I'll teach you again clearly what I mean by awareness. Because he said earlier, what did he say? Bodha rupaha avashishyate. Think about that. Is a very important thing. Bodha rupaha avashishyate in 210. Bodha rupaha avashishyate. What is that? Nisheda avadi. When everything has ended, avadi, at the end of it, what remains is bodha rupaha, awareness. See, awareness is not another thought modification. It is not, you cannot even count it as an experience. Because when you say, I'm aware, this awareness is not to be understood as a particular experience. In the Dakshinamurti Stotram, next one that is coming up is Nana Chitra Katotara Mahadipa Prabhabhaswaram Jnanam Yasud Chakshuradikarana Dvara Bahispandate Janamidi Tameva Bantam Anuvadi Edat Samastam Jagat Asmai Sri Guru Murti Namaidam Sri Dakshinamurti. There, the consciousness which is flowing through as though through the mind and senses and capturing the object and returns back to report until the consciousness as though when it is passing through the mind and its senses and having captured the object through the senses and returning back until it reaches back to the consciousness, it is incomplete. Meaning, experience doesn't take place. Janami is when I know is that state of experience when the consciousness completes its cycle. But this does not mean only when the object is there is consciousness. You understand that? If I don't see anything, if I don't hear anything, if I don't think of anything, do exist. If I don't use any of my senses, nor I have any thoughts or feelings or any thought modification, do I exist? Yes, that is called awareness. Though it appears like we need to practice this, but this practice is very peculiar because in the beginning stages, yes, you need to withdraw the usual activities of the mind and senses, which are always outgoing, right? It is mind, when it is there, it is going through the looking at something or hearing something, etc. It does, and then therefore we always assure ourselves, I exist because I'm seeing, I'm hearing, or whatever, or I'm thinking, therefore I exist. But that is not the point. Because you are experiencing something, therefore I exist, is ajnana. It is incomplete knowledge. So even as one is present in the world, while one is either operating through the senses and the mind or not, awareness does not become absent. This awareness is bodharupa. Why it is, that is why it is called, one is called vritti jnanam, another is called atma jnanam. The one point that he made before is swayam jyoti. That's what the point he made before. It self-illuminates. See, in the case of any object, that discussion that is coming in Dakshinamurti is, do the objects illuminate themselves or it needs Ishvara to illuminate it? There the discussion starts by, it cannot, it is the consciousness giving reality to the objects and therefore they are known. Whereas self-knowing is the nature of consciousness, it doesn't need any object to know itself. That is the Bodharupa here. So when the student asks this question, when everything is absent, do I exist? Or what is there to see? Sarva abhavam vina kaschit atra na vijnayam. Na kaschit vijnayam. When everything is absent, that I know. But what is the vastu? What is the thing which is to be known? Which you are saying. So the student teacher has to explain. Tat vijnayam. That is to be known. In Gita also, Bhagavan Krishna says, Jneyam yatyat pravakshyami yajñatva mokshase shubhat. I am going to teach you about what is to be known, by which alone you come out of all impurities in your thinking. So here, Sri Guru Ruvacha Satyamuktam Tvaya Vidvan Nipunosi Vicharane Ahamadi Vikaraste Tadabhaveyamapyanu Sarve Yenanubhuyante Yasvayam Nanubhuyate Tamatmanam Veditaram Viddhi Buddhya Susukshmaya Satyamuktam Tvaya Vidvan Nipunosi Vicharane Ahamadi Vikaraste Tadabhavoyamapyano Sarvam Yenanubhuyante Yasvayam Nanubhuyate Tamatmanam Veditaram Viddhi Buddhya Susukshmaya. First of all, he says, you are a Nipuna. Vicharane Nipuna. See, just make the student feel comfortable. If the student asks this question, how stupid. So, poor thing, you will lose all interest in learning this. You are Nipuna. Excellent in what? Nipunaha, see, Vidwan. Oh, well read one. Vicharane Nipunaha. You are expert in thinking. Samyak Uktam Tvaya. You spoke very, very appropriately. You have asked a very relevant question and you have thought about it very clearly. So, now I have to answer your question of what remains to be known. Vastu asti kimu vastu asti vijneyam. What object is there? What thing is there to be known? Ahamadi vikaraha. Ahamadi vikaraha. From aham onwards, ego which is found in as the upadhi, in the form of upadhi, as an upadhi, in the vijnanamaya kosha, ahankar is the upadhi. As I said, anandamaya koshe, ajnana upadhi, vijnanamaya koshe, ahankara upadhi, manomaya koshe, vritti upadhi, pranamaya koshe, pranakarma upadhi. They has, then that is two, then Sthula Sharire or Annamaya Koshe, Indriyani Upadhi. So these are the means through which it is functioning. Now, Ahamadi, from that Aham, Ahankar on me and onwards, Vikaraha, all the various Prakriti Vikaraha, they is there to you in you, then Tat Abhavaha, De Tesham Abhavaha, all the vikara bhava. Tat abhava means vikara bhava. Tat abhava ayam api anu. It is also absent there, but what remains there? What remains after having eliminated all the vikara aham onwards? This one, which I am referring to as to be known, is sarvam yena anubhuyante. All that which you have so far understood as not self are known by which? Yena sarvam anubhuyate. Yena, by which sarvam, everything, all the koshas are anubhuyate, are seen or heard, no, sorry, are experienced. Yaha swayam na anubhuyate. But that which is not experienced, not as a external experience, as an objective experience. Tam atmanam veditaram veddi. Those people who know this, they know it. Veditaram, Veditaram, one who knows everything. Meaning, Veditaram Atmanam, one who is the knower of everything. Tam Atmanam Veditaram. Atmanam Veditaram is the objective here. Atmanam Veditaram, those who that which knows everything, Vidhi, come to know what? Sukshmaya Buddhya. Susukshmaya Buddhya. With a very, very fine intellect, you come to know. So that by which all modifications like yoga as well as their absence during the deep sleeps are perceived, by which itself is not perceived. Now an extremely subtle intellect realize that Atman, the knower, Veditaram, Atmanam, Vidhi. So this is why Upanishad very clearly says, Sukshmaya Sukshmadarshibihi. The subtlemost intellect is that which recognizes its presence as its own essence, not making it as another thought modification, but merge. When the moment it comes to know as its own essence, the buddhi fails to be an external entity, recognizing it as a thought. As Gurudev would say, when you have a dark room in which a small window is opened and through which the sunlight comes in, and you can exclusively see the sunlight. Through the window, it has come in. In the wall which is there, you can see the light of the sun is coming in and making it as a small spot of light. Open the door. What happens? The whole light gets flooded. The light which came through the window is no more exclusively be seen because it has become merged with total light. Or remove the wall itself. Then what happens? Remove the wall, then where the light of the window will be seen. Or, I mean, best example is open the doors. Because the window still is there. When the window light is still there, but window light cannot be exclusively seen because it has been overpowered by the light that came out of the door. In the same way, buddhi is trying to comprehend it as a single thought. But when it is recognized as the very consciousness of one's own essence, that individual thought process of wanting to know as this ends. So thereafter, one does not recognize it or know it as another thought, as experience. That's why he says, Swayam na anubhuyate. It's not experienced as an objective thought. So here, Satyamuktam, hey Vidwan, Tvaya Satyamuktam, very well spoken by you, Vicharane Nipudahasvi, Purva Mucha Vachadaya, Pratitasya, okay. So, Te Purva Manubhutaha, Ahamadi Vikaraha. By you, what has been experienced as Ahankara, etc., all that. Ata idanim ayam tad abhavaha abhi. Even as you are doing the Panchakosha Viveka and Panchakoshe Nishiddhe, Yuktitaha, Shruti Yuktitaha, according to the Shruti's Yukti, when you have already eliminated the absence also, that abhavaha abhi, even you have understood or experienced their absence, ete sarve yena anubhuyate. Purvam anubhutaha tadatmena idanim prataktaya tad abhavaha va anubhuyate. Earlier you have experienced them and also experienced their absence. Yaha swayam na anubhuyate. Tam veditaram sarvasakshinam susukmaya buddhya ekagraya ananya vishayakaya buddhya atmanam vitti janihi. Meaning, ananya vishaya. As mind ekagrata, the buddhi should become one which is engaged in not anything else. In Bhakti Marga, Ananya Chintayantoma. You'll say, don't think about it, except me. Then I'll take care of everything. So, when a person is able to exclusively pay attention to Bhagavan and nothing else, suddenly he realizes there's nothing called yoga and Kshema. You say, I will take care of your yoga Kshema. Suddenly, that person says, there's nothing called yoga Kshema, what which you need to take care of that for me anymore. So here, continuing here in the next verse, he says, in the verse number 215, Tat sakshikam bhave tat tat
Sakshikam bhave tat tat
yatyatyenanubhuyate
yatyatyenanubhuyate
kasyapyananubhutarte
kasyapyananubhutarte
sakshitvam nopayujyate Tat sakshikam bhave tat tat yatyatyenanubhuyate kasyapyananubhutarte sakshitvam nopayujyate. Tat sakshikam bhavet. Yattat bhavet tattad. Tat sakshikam bhavet. So whatever is experienced by us can be experienced only when what is experienced is different from the experiencer. Experiencer or the seer is always different from the seen. If the seer and the seen are one, there is no seeing. Have you ever seen your eyes? So you can see things through the eyes, but I cannot see the eyes because the seer cannot be seen in this context. But mentally, I know the condition of the eyes. That becomes, then mind becomes the seer and the eyes become the seer, seen. Seen means known. So I know the condition of my eyes, whether it is dull or bright, not with the eyes. With the eyes, I do not know whether it is bright or dull. But mind knows, I am not able to see clearly. I need glasses. Now the children are, they look at the phones like this. I get my eyes aching for me looking at them. How will you see things like this? So close. Whenever I see some children doing that, I said, when you grow up even a little bit, you don't need glasses, you need binoculars. Because it's so like this when you read, what I cannot, my eyes are anyway. So drishta and drishtam, drishta and drishtam or drishyam cannot be one and the same. Drishta sakshi drishyasya. The seer is always a sakshi of what is seen. So when you go on like this, we will realize that at some point of time, there is one drishta because of which everything else becomes drishyam. So here it is said, that which is witnessed by something else as the later as the witness. Yat bhavet tat tat sakshikam. Yattat yena anubhuyate. Yena anubhuyate tat sakshi. That's what it is. Yattat yena anubhuyate tat sakshikam. There is a sakshi for whatever you has experienced. Yatyat anubhuyate tat sakshikam bhavet. Whatever is experienced by anyone, the experiencer is the sakshi. All right. Kasyabi anubhuta arte, if a thing is never seen by anyone, tat sakshitvam na upayujyate. Then there is no sakshi at all. A thing that is not seen by anyone, there is no witness for that. Witness is absent when the object is not perceived. That which is not experienced cannot have a witness at all. In other words, this is building up the logic. Slowly you will build up and prove that you are the Sakshi, you are the one. Why? Because if you say, I have not seen anything, that's what the Shishya said. On the elimination of all the koshas, I'm seeing their absence, right? So what is there to be further known? Huh? Yeah. So even the abhava is an anubhava. See, what is the point here? Anything experienced, there must be a sakshi different from what is experienced. If that is so, even the abhava of all of them is experienced by you. Who's the experiencer? That is what you are. So we'll see that in the next class. Om sarve bhavantu sukhinah, sarve santu niramayaha, sarve bhadrani pashyantu ma kaschid dukkha bhavet. Om shanti shanti shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi